a huge, huge thank you to Tara for doing this because I really like played some of Amy's tricks on her. Like, okay, what would you do? If this was your team, like I really made her step outside of her comfort zone. But I have full confidence because that's what Amy always turns it back around to a question for me. And so,
that's
sorry, Tara. But I really appreciate you stepping in. I have absolute full confidence in you because I've followed Tara. Gosh, Tara, I've been
Oops.
There we go. All right, I'm unmuted now. I've kind of followed Tara's journey from early on, and just love her energy, and she's just positive, and I just love how she just lays it out there. And that's what I told her tonight. I was like, okay, we have a tough love group, and I just know that you can bring the tough love, because sometimes I think that's what we all need to hear. And I'm just really excited to hear what Tara has to say. Tara, you are in Indiana, right? Yeah, she's in Indiana, and she's got 2 boys that are precious. I promise I'm not a Facebook creeper, but I did creep a little so that I could kind of intro you. But she's really just so active, and loves life, loves her family, loves the Lord, and loves Plexus and loves her team. I just watched one of her videos, y'all. I'm just telling you, when she gets done, we get off tonight, go look at some of her videos. I'm like laying in the bed, like crying. It was so sweet. I love it. So I think you've got a lot to that we can learn and you can glean from her experience. She fast started gold, and then you said 18 weeks to Ruby. Is that right?
Senior Ruby.
Senior Ruby. Okay. Wow. Y'all.
Yeah.
If you don't get that yet, that's like fantabulous and amazing, then you need to listen. Anybody who does that, you better stop what you're doing, get your pad, a pen, start taking some notes. So I'm not going to talk anymore. We're just excited you're here, guys. Listen, and if you think of some questions, maybe at the very end, Tara, would that be okay if maybe when you get done, they ask a few questions?
Yeah, I'll do my best.
All right, awesome. All right, so take it away, girlfriend.
Okay. Well, to start off, thanks for asking me to fill in tonight. I got the message around 5:30 p.m. and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" She's like, "No, really, bust out of your comfort zone," and that spoke to me. So I was like, "Crap!" And congratulations on going Ruby. Did I see that? It was yesterday. Very exciting. Congratulations, big deal. So I guess I'll just kind of tell a little bit about my story with the business, and just some tips that I've picked up along the way. I just kind of put this all together in the last 20 minutes. So, okay, so Plexus was brand new pretty much to our area in Indiana. We didn't have any jewels. And my best friend, her name's Megan Moore, and she saw a post from a girl that lives in Arkansas. She'd been seeing Morgan Adams as her name. She'd been seeing her post for quite a while about how Plexus could potentially help with weight loss and stuff. That's why this girl was doing it, to lose baby weight. That didn't faze Megan. She wasn't looking to lose weight. So she would see that. I just want to let you guys know, that's why you want to vary your posts, right? You don't want to always post about the exact same thing because it doesn't speak to everybody. So finally, one day she posted about how it could potentially help with, energy and things like that. I have to be careful what I say, right? Because of compliance. So, but at the time, it caught Megan's attention. And so what Megan did was exactly what any best friend should do. You go to your best friend, your closest circle, your ride or die crew, and you tell them, listen, you got to do this stuff with me, whether it's for the business reason, whether it's for, the health. For us, it was really the health. She and I had never done an MLM before. I didn't even know what MLM stood for. And really, I was kind of turned off. I guess they call it a snob, an MLM snob. I just thought it was about parties and pressuring people. I did not get it at all. So when she came to me, and she used energy, she used passion, she was excited, and she said, Tara, you got to try this stuff with me. You're my best friend. We do everything together. It's supposed to help with energy and sleep, and those are things that we struggle with. You got to give this a try. And this is where no is not forever, because I said no, absolutely not. Nope. And I meant it. Like, I did not want any part to do with it. We struggled with money. I thought it was the craziest thing I'd ever heard. So I told her no for about 3 or 4 days straight. And I was very firm with her. No. And she just kept going because she believed in it so much. And she believed that this could help us. Like, what if, you know? So she stayed on me, which I think is so important. And I mean, look what ended up happening. I finally gave in and I said, okay, what if? I might as well try this. So she gave me a sample of the pink drink and the probiotic, actually, which was, you know, a different kind of combo. But it worked for me. Within the first week, I was like, what is this? I felt like I had more energy and I was sleeping better. And I immediately went to Facebook. And I went to my husband and I was just like, Matt, like, I think this stuff is helping. I think I should try it. As many of you probably had skeptical husbands, he was not about it at all. He said, we don't have the money to spend on this. You've lost your mind. Megan's getting to you, you know. And I struggled with him for a little while. But after about 2 days, he gave in too. He said, you can join. You can do it for 1 month. That's it. We'll see what happens. So I went to Facebook. I'm going to tell you kind of how I went fast track gold, how I think what I did to, I think, help with that. So I just immediately went to Facebook. I always posted on Facebook anyway, just about regular everyday stuff. And I did a coming out post, like what I always tell all of my team to do a coming out post. You know, you don't have to go crazy, but at least share what you're doing with your Facebook audience, because you never know if you might have a best friend, a cousin, a sister getting ready to order Plexus tomorrow off Suzy Q down the street. But if they see your coming out post and they're like, oh, wait, Tara's doing Plexus, maybe I should ask her about it. You know, you never know whose attention you're going to catch. So I went straight to Facebook. I did a coming out post. It wasn't real deep. I just said, I'm really excited about trying this Plexus. I've heard it helps with sleep and energy and a couple of other things. And I'm really hoping it's going to help with, you know, things that I'm experiencing. And that was pretty much it. And a lot of people are like, what's this stuff? You know, and it got a little bit of attention. But I just kept going. I didn't stop there. I kept posting on Facebook. Timmy Yancey, who a lot of you have probably heard of, I'm her level 3. She just went diamond like 2 days ago with the company. But I'm her level 3. And since Megan was so new too, we kind of went to her for some guidance. And one thing she told me in the beginning was, if you want to work this business, you want to post like a crazy person, but you want to also stay interesting. So you want to post enough about Plexus that you got their attention, but enough about your regular life too that they can't block you because they want to see what's going on in your regular life too. So that's what I did. I posted about Plexus a lot. And over time, people just started asking me about it. And I called every single person. So if they messaged me and said, hey, what is this? Instead of typing out something, I said, hey, listen, it'll take 5 minutes. If you can just give me 5 minutes, I'll give you a call, tell you a little bit about it. And I would say 9 out of 10 people were A-okay with that. And I know it goes out of a lot of people's comfort zones to have to call people, but it's worth it because when they can hear your passion and your excitement and you connect with them, I don't know, I think it just takes it another level. Don't you agree? Like actually connecting with them. So I got them all on the phone, every single one of them. And I didn't know a whole lot. I was so new myself. I just knew kind of key phrases about Triplex. That's what I kind of pushed everybody to order because that's what I knew. And I think everybody needs Triplex. So that's what I focused on was Triplex. I talked a little bit about the products. I talked about what I was already noticing and what I had heard it could help with. And pretty much everybody signed up. And then I remember about 2 weeks in, I did a sample giveaway. I wanted to kind of see who all was really watching because I didn't get very many likes on my posts. So I did a sample giveaway. And like 62 people said they wanted a sample. So that meant all those people, yeah, I panicked. That meant all of those people had been watching me because I would only get like 2 or 3 likes. Now people would private message me, but I would only get 2 or 3 likes. But I kept going. So then when I had I'll never forget, it was 62 people. I was like, oh no, what do I do? Because I cannot afford that. Remember, I barely signed up because I didn't have the money to sign up, you know? So what I did was I picked a winner. But then I private messaged every single person. Obviously, I copy and pasted. but I was just like, hey, thank you so much for your interest. I gave a quick little intro about what the products are and what they can help with potentially. Said if they had any questions to let me know what their health goals were. And I gave them my website if they wanted to browse around. But I also told them that I would love to give them all at least one stick of Slim. That way they could taste it. Now, I didn't have money to front that. So I went to my grandma and I begged her. I was like, I call her Mimi. I said, Mimi, I believe in this stuff so much. I think that God has placed this in my lap as the blessing I have been praying for. Because never did I dream I could make money with Plexus too. Will you please loan me, it was at the time $500, so I could buy that mega pack or whatever, you know, of 8 bags of Slim. And I will pay you back as soon as I can. So she said, yes, absolutely. She gave me that. Okay, so when I messaged those people, I would say out of the 60 people, I would say over half of them didn't even care to try a sample. They went ahead and I opened that door of communication and they reached out to me and they started asking me, okay, what is it? Here's my health goals. Could it help with this? Blah, blah, blah. And I called them all and I talked to them and I put a lot of time in the beginning. To the point where on like New Year's Eve, because I joined on like September 12th and I fast tracked over that month. I remember New Year's Eve, all my friends were like playing cards at the table and I was doing Plexus, but I was dedicated. I was all in and I was on a mission. So it wasn't easy. Going fast track gold is not easy. Like you've got to put the time in, pour into the people. And so I ended up signing, I think it was 36 people in 30 days. And then it just kept going from there. It was just a snowball effect. Again, it was new to my area, so I think that had something to do with it. But at the same time, when it's new to your area, it can be reversed. It can be even harder to get people because people really don't know what it is. So that's where I think really your just passion comes in. They say that belief is like a sound. When you believe in something so much, people can actually hear it. And I was passionate, and I showed excitement, and I showed belief, strong belief. And I feel like a lot of people heard that. So I think I had that in my favor too. Now, what came with that was when you fast track gold, you can lose them just as fast as you gain them. If you're not properly trained and you don't know what you're doing and you just got all these people jumping on the train saying, hey, let's go. And then what, you know? So it just kept going. I was senior Ruby, like I said, in 18 weeks. That was absolutely insane. But at the same time, I wasn't a leader. I didn't know what I was doing. I just was sharing the love and, you know, showing my passion and belief, which is key. You know, that's what got me the people. But then I needed the training tools. So some of the things I kind of learned along the way as I gained that many people. See, I was getting level 4s and 5s, and I was having to pour into them just the same as my level 1s. It's kind of like they wwere all on the same playing field. Do you get what I'm saying? I didn't have time to really pour into this level 1 and then help her go out and get people. Like it was all coming at me fast. You guys know what that would be like. I mean, usually it takes some time. So some things I've kind of learned along the way is when someone says no or maybe, you cannot take it personally, right? Like I'm looking at you, Julie. I don't know if you can see me, but my screen is on you. So let me know you hear me. Don't take no personally. Because I heard the example, like when you go out to eat and the waitress comes by and says, would you like more coffee? And you say no. Well, that doesn't mean that tomorrow you're not going to want coffee, you know? So that doesn't mean that tomorrow isn't the day they want to try Plexus. And I can't tell you how many people in the beginning are like, no, you know, but I'll keep watching, you know, good luck with that. Or they would say, yeah, I'm going to order this weekend. And then the weekend came by and nothing. And then, you know, 2 weeks later, nothing. And it's like, what? And it's just, you can't really ride those highs and lows. 1 minute you're high, the next minute you're low, the next minute you're high. And it's like, you just got to keep going. You keep going no matter what. But those no's will turn into a yes. It really will. People are just uneducated. And I feel like once you keep proving to them that you're still passionate, that this is the real deal, they're eventually going to want to know more. And I've been doing this for 16 months now, and I signed up 3 people last month as a level 1. So that just goes to show it took those people 16 months, you know, where maybe in the beginning I signed people up on day 1. So you've just got to stay consistent. I talked about how consistency creates belief, right? If you are consistent, people are going to end up being like, and that's some of the messages I'll get is like, okay, girl, you've been posting for however long. I believe you. Like, I believe you. You know, I created that because I was very consistent, and I think that's key. Whether you want to post 2 times a day or 2 times a week, you've got to stay consistent. I think that the contest giveaways, something I learned was one time I did a contest giveaway and I got like a sample giveaway, and I had like one person comment. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing. I feel like I should delete that because it was so embarrassing. But listen, the right people just didn't see it. So I have learned when you do a sample giveaway, do it again later that night. Just share it again, or just creatively write it a different way. Maybe this time hold a pack of Slim, or have your little kids hold it, something different. And then you'll have a different audience that sees it. And then the next day, maybe do it over like 3 days. Do you agree? Like, do it a couple of different times instead of just one time, and you hope everybody sees it. It's not going to happen. So don't get all bummed out and think nobody's watching you if not everybody jumps on that sample giveaway. Like, do it a couple of times. And same with liking your posts. People are like on my team, well, you have like 100 likes on your Plexus post. Well, that's pretty much all Plexus people. It really is. You know, there's something about liking a Plexus post that scares somebody that's a non-Plexus person. They're afraid they're going to be like attacked or something. So very rarely are you going to get feedback from a non-Plexus person on your post, but I guarantee you they're reading it. I guarantee you they're reading it. But something that you should really do is keep your posts on Facebook interesting. So maybe post like a really cute picture of your kids or your family doing something, okay, and say you get 20 likes on that. And then you turn around and you post something in Plexus. Those same people are seeing your Plexus posts. You know what I mean? So they're watching. If they're liking your posts, maybe just not your Plexus posts, they're watching. Interactive posts are huge. So like, you know, I'm going to, I don't know, Applebee's tonight. What's you guys' favorite meal there? Or I'm getting ready to paint my kitchen. Which color do you like best? Stuff like that. Everybody loves to put their 2 cents in. And it's kind of like strategic. So the other day I went out and picked out some glasses. And I took a picture in 3 different pairs. And I said, which pair of glasses do you like better? Now, really that was strategy. I knew which ones I liked and which ones I was probably going to get. But I wanted to draw people in. And you guys, I had like 200 people comment on there. And I would say half of them were non-Plexus people. When they engage with your Plexus, with your Facebook page, that means they're going to start seeing all your posts. And there were people that commented on there that I had no idea were watching me on Facebook. And now I know they are. And they're seeing my Plexus post too. And I had like 4 fitness people comment on there. So the next week I turned around and I posted strategically some things about fitness. Do you get what I'm saying? And health nuts and stuff like that. And then those people, I know they saw it. I know they did. And in fact, one of them messaged me. So I know it worked. So just be strategic with that. I've also found like 1 week I'll focus on maybe like teachers. 1 week I'll focus on, fitness. 1 week I'll focus on, I don't know, just different things like that. Like really focus, because if you just post one thing about fitness, only certain people are going to see that. But if you post consistently for like a week, the people that you're trying to target are going to end up seeing it. So I thought that was some good advice. Okay, so people are going to quit on you. I can't tell you how many people have quit. Again, it's not about you. And I've had to learn that you cannot be like, oh my gosh, she quit. Like, this just isn't for me, No, not at all. It's not about you. Either it wasn't the right time. They weren't doing the right products. They didn't give it long enough. Money. I mean, there's so many different reasons. So when somebody quits, remember, it's not about you. And chances are, they might come back because they know in their little brains that they did not give it long enough. They know if they weren't consistent enough. They know if they weren't drinking their water. They know. And if you keep on being consistent and more people are having awesome results, eventually they're going to be like, dang it, maybe I need to try that again. I can't tell you how many people have quit, some of my best friends, and then come back 9 months later, 6 months later. And 2 of them in my brain right now I'm thinking of have come back, and they are rock stars. They joined like in the beginning, they gave up shortly after, and now they're back full force, and 2 of them are going to be gold next month. So that's really exciting. So don't get down. Still love on those people. Still like their Plexus or Facebook posts, still be friends with them. And like my favorite quote is, all you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough. So as long as you're doing all that you can do, well, guess what? That's all you can do. And that's enough. So feel good about that. But if you're not out there truly doing all that you can do, you cannot get upset if you're not ranking up and if you're not bringing the people in. You've got to do all that you can do. So then just, this is really my last thing, and then you can ask me questions. But okay, so the must do to maintain things. Okay. So when I went Senior Ruby, that was fantastic. Yay. But it was kind of handed to me on a silver platter. It was just this rush and this momentum. But then I never lost that rank, but I started to creep along. And they say you don't grow on the mountain, you grow in the valley. Have you heard that? You grow in the valley. And I needed to grow. I needed to do self-development. I needed to figure out who I was, what I was doing. I had to step back. And that is exactly what I did over those 11 months. Now, I was still going full blast 100%. But I could have let that bring me down and just been like, ugh, you know. But no, like, no way. I was still blessed to be where I was. And I knew that all that energy and everything I was putting in was going to pay off. You know, I trusted the Lord with it. So some things that I did besides self-development and prayer was my team culture. On my team page, I really tried to keep it fun and exciting, knowledgeable. I did contests. A lot of people on your team page want to know more about the products. So I made sure to post some videos, but some posts about stevia. I think that's very interesting. And a lot of people do think that's interesting. Then I would post something about our shakes. And people would be like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know you guys had shakes. I can't wait to try those shakes. I would post a lot of Ame Darling videos on X Factor and stuff like that. I would do like those 10-day contests. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where each day did you guys do that on your team? It's like a 10-day contest. And each day you post a video. I chose Ame Darling videos pretty much. But one day was on X Factor. The next day was on Mega X. And everybody had to comment below one takeaway from the video. I cannot tell you how huge that contest was. Almost every single comment was, I need to get this product yesterday. Oh my gosh, my grandma needs this. My husband needs that. My sister needs this. It opened their eyes and they realized it's not just triplex. It's just not Slim and Accelerator. It was the best contest. So I think that's huge. And just, you know, every now and then post maybe a funny graphic on your team page, not just on Facebook. Like, have fun with your team too. Create that laughter and that excitement and that, you know, bonding and everything. I also learned to spend 80% of my time on my top 20% runners. I was spending 90% of time on all the squeaky wheels and 10% of time on my level ones. And that's so backwards and exhausting. And I was running on E. When you pour into your runners, well, they're going to turn around and pour into the rest of the team. And if you just have a few runners and you pour into them, they're going to pour into the masses, you know, and it's going to trickle down. I wasn't doing very good on duplication. I was trying to do it all me, micromanage. I felt like my hand had to be touching everything. But that's so opposite. And I found people kept saying to me, I don't know how you do what you're doing. I don't think I could do what you do. And, you know, that's not a compliment. Instead, that's almost like a, ooh, you know, like I preach time freedom, but I'm not showing that. You know, I want to lead by example. So I've really learned to dial it down and pour into my runners. What did they say, Amy? I know you can't talk, but they said,
I can talk.
Go. They said pour into those people and love the other 80%, right?
Right. Yes. You love the 80% and lead the 20.
Yes. Perfect. Oh my gosh. Yes. So lead those 20% because when it comes down to it, you want to have strong leaders underneath you supporting you. Sarah Marble, Melissa Eichenhorst, and Jennifer Leith were standing up there relaxed, calm, confident, and you know why? They have strong, educated leaders underneath them holding down the fort. Me, I felt like if I walked away, it was all going to crumble. And that's not a place that you want to be. You want those leaders underneath you, strong, have your back, and ready to go. So that's something that I've really been trying to focus on, and I'm sure Amy's doing the same thing. And then just like when you do get a newbie, you cannot just be like, okay, I got a newbie, yay, send them on their way. Like you got to train them, and you got to plug in, you know, and teach them the ropes in the beginning, early on. And I think that's pretty much it. Those are my main things about maintaining that I could come up with.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. I love it. I love that. You know, definitely. I think that sometimes we don't think about these things until Somebody unmuted me. Can you mute everybody?
Sorry, I started my lesson. I'm almost done.
You're muted.
There's no one else in the world like you.
Okay, there we go. All right. And you can unmute Rachel. I'm not Rachel, Tara, sorry. No, I think that it's really important because we often don't think about those things until we're like in crisis mode already.
Yeah.
So I love that you're saying that because, you know, it's why it's so important for us to learn and really soak in when you have somebody who's walked that path already to say, you know what, I need to pay attention to that. I need to start doing that now. Don't be like, oh, I can just put that on the back burner. Yeah, because I love what you're sharing with that. That's great. Pouring into that 20 and loving the 80. That's great. Because you don't want to kick them to the curb.
Right. You need them, but you really need your leaders. You really need your leaders.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll let everybody be thinking right now, everybody that's on the call, if y'all be thinking about some questions. I have one that I wanted to ask because you had some really great tips on social media. And I think that that's something, because it is ever changing. It's not just something that stays the same. Facebook's constantly changing the way they do algorithms and everything. And so I think we definitely need to learn and constantly reevaluate what we're doing there. But so thank you for all those tips. But do you use any other social media? I was just curious.
I honestly don't. Okay. I don't Twitter or Instagram. I don't think I have time for it.
Right.
and really, I feel like I do so well on Facebook. It is 99% of my business. And that's, right. But other people might have a bigger audience or platform on, Instagram or Twitter. So I would say go for it. But for me, I haven't needed to explore those avenues yet.
Okay, awesome. And when you were talking about, because you were talking about having the interactive Facebook posts and paying attention to who likes those, do you send out like single messages to them, or you just let that be how you determine what types of posts you're going to post after you kind of evaluate who's there? Or do you ever actually say, hey, I saw you like that post, that kind of thing?
I would say the majority of the time I let it happen naturally and organically. I don't like to be pushy. Now, I think cold emails are great, and a lot of people need to do that to get their business going. Again, for me, it happened more, naturally. People reached out to me.
Right.
But I will tell you, if I notice one of my runners right now, her name is Deborah Poe, she liked my post like probably 10 times within a couple of weeks. And I was like, I keep noticing she's liking that. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to reach out to her because she was consistently liking it. And so this is what I said. It was just very non-abrupt, non-abrasive. I just said, hey girl, I noticed you've been liking some of my Plexus posts. I don't know if you already take the products, if you've ever done them before, if you're interested in more info. But if you are, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. That was it. And she wrote back and she said, I am interested. I have been following you and I would like to know more. And boom. And now, she's one of my runners too. So, I mean, I do reach out sometimes, but it's more when I notice that they've been kind of getting brave and liking things. For me, that's what has worked. I wanted to tell you where you were talking about, I can't say that word, algorithms or whatever. What is it?
Yeah, algorithms. Yeah.
Okay.
Close enough. I've heard about
it. It's so true, though. Like, you guys probably have at least 300 friends on Facebook, but you probably see the same 50 people's stuff, and especially your Plexus friends. Well, we don't need our Plexus friends seeing our posts as much as we need our non-Plexus friends. So you all might know this trick already, but it is so important to go to your Facebook list of friends and to scroll down. And if you're like, ooh, I haven't seen her in a while post anything, or him or her, click on their name, go to their profile, and it's the last thing that they posted, a picture of their family on vacation, comment on it and say, oh my goodness, your family is so beautiful, da-da-da-da-da. And guess what? You just engaged their page, and now your stuff's going to start showing up. And that's how that works. And it's not being really sneaky, but it's being strategic, and you still got to be like genuine,
Right.
And also just the simple trick of saying happy birthday. If you say happy birthday every day to everybody whose birthday it is, eventually you're going to get all the friends on your friends list. And when you write that simple happy birthday on somebody's Facebook wall, guess what? Your stuff's going to start showing up. So that's something to do.
That's a good one. And one other, and I noticed I saw your husband who posted a video for you, but I know a lot of times I'll get my husband, I'll say, I'll just send him a text. I love you. I just posted, you need to share it or something like that, or even just tagging him in it.
Yeah, so smart.
A lot of like, because then if he's tagged in it, then all his friends see it. So that's another
so smart. And I do my grandmas and my mom and dad because they don't care. And so like if I'm gonna post one back in the day on fibromyalgia, you know, I would tag my grandma. If I was going to post one about fitness, tag your husband or, you know, your sister who's in volleyball. Like you got to be strategic and tag family members because then their whole audience is going to see it. And I mean, that's so smart. I just signed up one of my grandma's good friends who I wasn't even friends with on Facebook. And she saw something that I tagged my grandma in and ended up messaging me. So that's really strategic too.
That's awesome. All right, we have somebody had written a question in the group chat saying that they wanted to hear more about the 10-day contest that you did.
Yeah. A lot of teams did it. And I can just send it to you, Julie, if you want. And I just said, hey, team. And I went ahead and did a giveaway. I think I did like at the end of the 10 days, everybody who participated and commented on all 10 videos, they had all the way till the end of the week to catch up. And I actually they had to comment, like they have to say something that they took away. But then they all commented, whoever participated, and I drew like 2 or 3 winners for whatever prize. But it's great. And it was just one video a day, and it was on product knowledge. And it was Amy Darling or Ame Darling, however you say her name. Do you watch her on YouTube?
I do. I have a lot of her stuff linked on my training page.
She's phenomenal. And I share her videos with people a lot. If they're interested in the pain side, I can tell them what I know, but I don't know all the science behind it. So I send them her 4-minute video. Done. It's a done deal, you know?
Yeah. So, she's fantastic.
But I'll send you. I mean,
yes, I would love that.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody else have a question? You can either write it in the comments in the chat, or if you just want to unmute and ask a question.
Hey, I have a question. Tara, so one thing that I took from our Jules training this week was coaching. Like, I think that's going to be my focus. So it's something that we're kind of just going to be starting this week, but you've already done that. At least I think that's what you said.
I just started. Yep.
So will you give us a little idea about, like, how has that helped? Has it helped you? Have you done that? I know someone coached you, but have you coached anyone else, and has that helped them?
Oh my gosh. Yes. So if you guys are starting to get teams underneath you, and you've got a couple leaders, even just one leader, you've got to coach them. So what that means is it's not training anymore. I mean, they know how to go to YouTube and find videos. They know, how to post and all that stuff. So coaching is a little bit different. So what I did was, since I exploded so fast, and I definitely didn't coach those people in the beginning, I had to backtrack. So, because I have signed up like 160 level 1s. So I have a whole lot of potential leaders. So I started all the way back, and I went kind of with like red light, yellow light, green light. Amy, did you hear that scenario?
No, but I want to hear it.
Okay,
great.
So a red light is somebody where it's like, stop, pay attention to me. I have potential. I have a team. I need help. That's a red light. So you're going to circle them. That's one of the first ones you're going to meet with. Okay. Then there's the yellow lights, and you need to get to them, but they're not like red light. And then the green light is maybe they're a newer person and they're just sailing along, doing great, building their team, and you can get to them a little bit later. So I had 5 red lights from the very beginning that I had joined under me that had pretty massive teams, and they needed some coaching. So I went to those 5 first, one-on-one. They all lived in Muncie, so I was able to actually meet them at my house. And we talked for like 2 hours. But you have the list of questions that you can use on a coaching call, right? They gave you the list of questions. Right. So I circled 10 of my favorite. And basically it just takes them back to their why. It takes them back to their strengths and their weaknesses. It takes them back to their fears. It just makes them kind of reset and refocus. And once you do that and you pour into them, figure out what their goals are, because they change, what they're really wanting, what their desires are, what their strengths and weaknesses are, then you come up with a game plan with them. So for like one of my runners that I did a coaching session with, we came up with a game plan. So we looked at her downline. Okay, try to follow me, Amy. This is confusing.
I'm with you.
Let's use this girl named Allison. We looked at her downline. She was already Gold Ambassador, so she had a fairly big downline. We looked at all of her level 1s. couple of her level ones had recruited a lot of people, but none of those people had recruited anybody. So it's like a die-off. Clearly something wasn't being transferred down, to teach those people how to recruit. It just stopped. Or we would notice that people would have like 2,000 PV, but absolutely no ambassadors. So do they know how to switch customers over to ambassadors? Do they know how to do that and why they would want to do that? We noticed that maybe some people, do you get what I'm saying? We noticed that some people would have like 5 ambassadors and all 5 were inactive after the first month. Well, that's a problem. So we just kind of I would try to go with my level 1 and look at all her level 1s. Did we have that person on a 3-way call? Had I met that person myself? Had I done a 3-way message with them? Nope. Okay, well, that's a problem. So then I would reach out to them too. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
And we would just come up with a game plan. This person's good at recruiting, but not good at teaching them how to duplicate. This person's good at getting preferred customers, but maybe doesn't know how to get them to be ambassadors. And just stuff like that. We just kind of dissected their downline and did the red light, green light, yellow light with them too. And some of them told me that it was just time was hard to post and be consistent. So I told them about buffer. Some of them hadn't had a sip and see in a year. That is a problem. So one of their goals was to have a couple sip and sees that month. Other things on the list were, just different things like that, getting people on 3-way calls. So then I would set up a 20-minute check-in call. So say I met with Allison on a Tuesday, then I would try to set it up for the following Tuesday, just a 20-minute check-in call. Hey, how you doing? Were you able to get this done? Did you get this done? Were you able to do this? And she was like, yes. It's like a checklist and it feels so good. I can check this off. I did this. And they're really pumped. Or they're like, no, I didn't do that. Crap, I didn't do that either. I forgot to do that. Well, no wonder you're stuck. You're not doing those IPA things that you need to be doing every day.
So what were some of your results for the girls that you did that with?
So good.
Growth?
Oh, every single one of them cried because you know why? They were being poured into. It was one-on-one. They were being trained and coached by me. There wasn't other people there for distractions. It was me truly connecting with them. And that's what it was. Every single one of them ended up crying. And they were saying how they were overwhelmed and they were stuck. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to advance. And so we were able to come up with ideas together. And remember I said I was Senior Ruby for 11 months? Mm-hmm. When I started that coaching, 2 months later I was Emerald. So I jumped in February 300 points. And then another 400 points in March. So when I went Emerald with 1,500, I ended up actually with like 1,650. And that was last month. Now I'm 1,950. All from coaching. Like, I swear that was huge.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was just pouring into your level 1s. Like spending
Get ready,
80%.
ladies.
Yeah, spend 80% with the 20%. Because when they feel, what is it, Amy? Empowered, inspired, and influenced.
Yes.
Amazing things happen. I was trying to do it for 900 people or however many is active. Oh my gosh, they don't know me. Like, it needs to trickle down. And people need to feel like truly connected. And remember, Amy, they said people join for the products, but they stay for the relationships.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what I'm really slowing down and trying to focus on.
That's awesome.
It's worth it.
Do you have a list of like the check-in, the checklist that you would go back to them with?
Yeah, I did. I actually bought those kind of folders with tabs, and it would say Allison, and then I would stick just pieces of paper in there on what we had discussed. Because I wrote it down and so did she, what her goals were, what her weaknesses were, what her strengths were, all of that. And then I wrote down buffer, sip and see, get her team page going and post a video in there and let your people know who you are and that you're a leader. She had a checklist of things to do. So then when I called her and I only have 20 minutes, we go right down that checklist and see how she's doing. And then we come up with a game plan for the next week. It's really pretty easy.
Yeah, and I have that too, Julie. So I've got a lot of those questions and things because that's what we just learned about. So
okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as hard as you would think. And it's really actually, it makes you feel good. And you leave every single person that I did it with. There's 7 of them I've done it with now, maybe 8. Every single one walked away saying, I feel good. I feel ready. I am pumped. Let's do this. It was like a new light had been lit within them. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
That's
Empowered, inspired, and influenced.
Yeah. And it's like, who am I? But it just comes naturally because Amy, because we're hungry and we care about people. And that's why that's ultimately how you're going to do well in this business, is if you really care about people, right?
Right.
Yeah, I agree. That's awesome. Does anybody else have another question? I had one and I'm trying to find where I wrote it down.
I have a question.
Yep, go ahead.
I was wondering if you spend your Plexus time during the day, do you call the people? Like, I'm afraid to call them if they're at work.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
don't know.
You're just going to have to, each one will be a totally different situation. So, and that is hard if people work 8 to 5. But I try to block mine to where they're back to back as best as possible. So if I can get 3 people at like 11, 11:30, 12, that's fantastic, because I can just knock it out. But then other people I might have to do at 9 p.m., 9:30 p.m., and 10, It's just really wherever you can fit it in, but make it worth your while. Like if they say I can talk at 8:30 p.m., try to make it work at 8:30 p.m.,
So do you call them during the day and just ask them to let you know when would be a good time?
You can just message them. Like if you have 3 people in mind right now, don't get bogged down with doing too many people. I did 5 girls for about 4 weeks. Now I'm letting them go and fly. They're green lights. They've been poured into. They need to go do their thing. And I have moved on to 5 more girls, and then I'll pour into them. And then I'll get another batch of 5. And then just still kind of check in on them when I can. You know what I mean? Because they're green lights now. They're feeling good. But just message the person and say, hey, girl, you've been on my mind. I would love to pour into you and really just be there for you and see where you're at. And I want to pay attention to you. Like, when can we meet? When can we talk? And maybe give her a couple ideas of times that you're available, and then just she'll pick one.
Okay, and you do potentials like that too? You just try to call them in the evening?
Well, this is for my leaders, for coaching calls. For potentials, I always use voice messenger on Facebook instead of typing out a book. You can say a whole lot in 60 seconds and they can hear your voice. So I always tell them, hey, let me know when you can get on the phone. It'll take probably 10 minutes tops, and we can talk a little bit more about the products and what your health goals are. And almost always they say, okay. Why wouldn't they?
That's good. I think a lot of us are afraid, it does feel in a day where it's easy to just text a message. But I think, one of the big things that we've seen and what you're saying tonight, and
true.
We say it all the time, but it's true, passion has a voice and it makes such a huge difference. And it's crazy that in this day and time that's really talking on the phone is stepping out of the comfort zone, but it so is for so many of us.
It really is, Julie. If that's not the biggest thing I can tell you guys, is on the phone, especially when you're trying to get them to sign up. But if nothing else, voice messenger. Now, if you're just going to say, that's cool, well, you can type that out. But if it's going to be, 60 seconds worth, say it. It's so much easier, and they hear your passion. They feel a little more connected.
Let me say something about that real quick. I don't know if you guys saw in my post the other day, my top earner, he hit 2,500 PV. My top earner for the month of April he hasn't even used Facebook. You know what he does? He literally calls people all day long. And he joined in February. He'll be gold this month. And he wants to use Facebook, but he hasn't gotten it yet. He may be on this call. So proud of him. But that's the thing, is like anybody can do this. And he picks up the phone and makes phone calls. That's what he does. And out of my 1,500 people, he is the top earner in my entire team.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so just know that it can be done many ways.
It is going out of your comfort zone. And there were times, it was mostly like people I really barely knew and didn't even know how we were friends on Facebook that would message me. And so I would get nervous, and I'm an outgoing person. I'm a hairstylist. But I would even be like, ugh, what am I going to say? How am I going to start the conversation? But once you get on the phone, you're talking about Plexus. You're not talking about the weather and small talk. So you know your stuff, and it comes out naturally. Don't you agree? And once the conversation starts going, it's natural. So don't stress about it too much. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. I promise. Yeah.
All right. Let's take one more question if we've got it. And then, because I know it's getting late and everybody's got Sunday night wrap up, beginning of the week things to get done to get everybody where they need to go on Monday morning. So anybody else have a question?
You guys can follow me on Facebook if you want. I'd love to like be friends with all of you guys.
Yeah, I'm telling y'all, guys, she's great to follow on Facebook. Such great info.
And if you ever see something, I know this is one plexus. If you ever see something you like, not of mine, of anybody's, copy it and maybe tweak it and paste it. You know, like we can share each other's stuff. So I do a lot of that too.
That's awesome. Well, Tara, I cannot even thank you enough for just totally jumping in.